Hello, everyone. Um, I just wanted to make another video, especially what's been happening in the card collecting, hobby, news, grading, you know, news going on. Um, so I wanted to, make a video of my opinion of what's going on. So, as many of you guys know, I'm a big fan of SGC. I was a big fan of SGC from when I first started getting back into card collecting a couple years ago. Um, Not saying that I won't buy PSA slabs, but I don't submit to PSA. I only submit it to SGC because I like SGC. Um, so with that said, well, we all know the story about PSA buying out SGC, and we were all hoping that things were going to change that much, and it was just we were hoping it was just going to be like a luxury, thing, but we could still get our 15 to 20 days turnaround time for when they receive it. And over the past year or so, we all have noticed that change. Now, the reason I personally like SGC was the fact tuxedo. I love the tuxedo look on all my cards, vintage and modern that I got. Um, they just they look more squared away than PSA. I don't like the mirror the window look with PSA. Um, so that was one of the main reasons. Besides the turnaround time was a lot less, and it was cheaper to grade multiple cards. 15 bucks a card, 17 tops. To send it depending on your mail, and then it was cheap. So the looks, the cheap, the consistency of the grading, the prices or the retail, the value of the cards going up alongside PSA. Like cards are started to worth the same amount of money, so it didn't really matter if you had PSA or SGC. So I go with aesthetics. Look, customer service, and turnaround time. But we all know in this past year, SGC has gotten has slacked off. Um, Now that could be due to a lot of things that don't have the manpower anymore because PSA took all their manpower. Um, and PSA has been absorbing because PSA bought them out, which PSA falls under collectors and all that. So they're making a monopoly and of card collecting, like you're only supposed to choose. So like what my friend said in his videos, this is a time where a new company needs to step up and come in. We just know past couple days, we PSA collectors have bought Beckett. We all thought Beckett was going to be able to step up and fill that void to give competition to PSA because there are a lot of diehard people out there like myself that will not submit to PSA because you're waiting 8 months to 9 months for a card to return. You're paying high prices to get your card value graded. So turnaround times, pricing, just there's just so much they're into. Um, they got their hands, their tentacles, and so much of the assets that it's hurting their customer service. Their customer service has been slacking. So, things that we loved about SGC, like I said, tux, prices, turnaround time, customer service was great until PSA took them over, and the turnaround times for SGC is 30 plus business days now instead of 15 to 20 days. They'll say they don't have the manpower anymore. Let's do the manpower. I get it, whatever, but come out and say something to the public. SGC can come out with PSA now. Can come out and say something. Hey, look, we know SGC was your 15 to 20 minutes business days. We know we've been having 30 plus business days turnaround time. This is the reason why. They needed to come out and they never came out and said something. So they ruined their aspect. PSA ruined SGC's customer service um, persona or reputation. It's just it seems to me as as a collector of both vintage and modern that PSA is getting to be and collectors is getting to be so big that they can't. They're 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 just getting confused, and they needed to stick to their lane. They needed competition. You need competition in this world, for, you know, to keep everybody somewhat humble. Um, and it's just I feel PSA is getting too big for the britches now that they're trying to buy out the competition because they want to be the premium. Um, so like I said, they just recently bought out Beckett. They're buying all their competition, and like I said earlier, one of my fellow collectors said now's the time to step up. Card companies to step up. One of these other ones, be it Tag, CGC. Um, but I've been looking into also another card company that's been popping up on my card grading company that I'm looking into. I haven't tried them yet, so my decisions right now are. Um, so my options are now keeping it raw, which I've been leaning a lot towards keeping my cards raw until this whole PSA sorts out their mess and gets just something happens where something falters or changes with PSA and SGC and Beckett, and now that PSA owns them all. So I might just keep them raw, which is a highly um, the most probable course of action I'm going to take. The second course of action I take is, like I said, another trading, another grading, not trading, grading company has popped up on my social media. It's called Degree Grading. Um, and for what it looks like, they're into Pokemon, TCG, everything like that. They look like they're a small company, but they look like they're up and coming. I'm looking at some stuff. I'm doing research on them. I haven't submitted to them yet. I'm thinking about it. Um, but they look like a crossover between Beckett and SGC. With SGC, what I'm saying about with SGC is the whole black label, black tuxedo, the whole black look, which is really nice. Um, they seem to have a reasonable turnaround time. Um, their customer service looks like it'll be excellent. Um, and what I mean by it looks with Beckett is it gives subgrades. Um, let's say corners, surface, da da da. It'll actually give subgrades on the back of the card like Beckett does. So it looks like a crossover between Beckett and SGC, which actually looks pretty, and it's black and neon greens, which actually looks pretty, in my opinion, hot. Looks pretty cool. So that's a company. It's called that I'm looking into. It's called degreegrading.com. Um, and that's what I'm looking into. But there's a whole thing that's been happening with um, PSA. It's I'm not gonna lie, and I can see with some of my other fellow hobbyists and graders and collectors that it's agitated us. It's like, bro, you're taking out stuff that we like, and it's getting worse. It's not you acquire them to make them better. You acquire them, absorbing them, and it's becoming worse. Again, with SGC, it's no longer 15 to 20-minute business days for turnaround from when the time they receive it. It's 30 plus uh, business days. Um, Prices stayed the same, which is good. But a lot of people are like me, and we want to know our grades. We want to get our cards back. We want to be able to, if case we need to flip them, we can flip them. But for the most part, we just want our grades back. We want to see what we get. We want to like hold that in our treasure, and we want to show people. So, the whole um, it's slow turnaround times. And like I said, we all knew that PSA had slow turnaround times, 6, 8 months, 9 months. The stories even about PSA holding the cards for a year. And then we all know about what's also been happening with PSA. The one incident that happened, but possibility has been happening for years, is the PSA will grade them at a lower grade, um, and then a third party would buy those cards from the collector after they were graded, and then next thing you know, that third party, same exact card, same exact lot number or same identification number, and it's been grade higher. The most recent one is those 30 something cards that were um, graded nines, and the person sold the cards to a third party through PSA, and then the next thing, that third party is selling the cards at the same exact cards, same numbers and everything, at tens. PSA apparently made statements saying that it was a mistake, like that all those transactions shouldn't have happened before they went to their third person to confirm those were nines. But and that those transactions happened before that, so that those transactions should have never happened, but it's happening. So how could something like that happen with a business that you just got all this power, all this power you got, you let something like that happen, and now you realize you're ruining yourself, you're ruining your business, you ruin your trust, and there's a lot of people that have seen that, and now everything that PSA is doing, I feel a lot of us as collectors, PSA people or not, are going to second guess that with if we submit to SGC, if we submit to now Beckett's. So a lot of us, I believe, are going to just, you know what, we're just gonna keep our stuff raw until something happens, or we're gonna look for another grading company, like I've said a couple times already, and being CGC, degree, um, tag. So, my opinions on it. Well, those are my opinions, on it. Like, PSA really needs to step it up. They need to. I know they're there to make money, but they need to really focus on the consumers. We know all Pokemon is big right now, and PSA opened its doors to Pokemon. We get it. Um, but some of us feel like those Pokemon's getting prioritized over some of us, maybe. Like, how could ours cards take so long? Like, are we getting pushed back because they're not Pokemon cards and Pokemon cards are the hottest? Is it? Is there really? Are we in line? Are they in line grading, or are they just keep pushing us back? Um, my daughter's into Pokemon cards, so I have nothing against Pokemon cards. It's just PSA has a lot of questions to answer. I feel customer service, turnaround times. Um, what is their ultimate end goal with SGC and Beckett now? What are the goals? Because the more you keep your customers in the dark, the more and more we're going to get suspicious. More I say we're, I mean, we as uh, card collectors and hobbyists, and we as collectors are, no matter if we like you PSA or not, we're gonna get more suspicious. We need answers for things and stuff like this. And like, what is your ultimate goal? Like, we need some type of transparency. I know theoretically you don't have to give that to us. True, but just I think there needs to be something said. What's going on? You're buying up your competition left and right, and that's not all looking good, because now you're trying to force us to go to you even when we don't want to go to you. Um, he said, I'll still buy PSA slabs. I won't submit to PSA. I don't like, I mean, personally, I don't like their customer service as far as things that I've already expressed. Turnaround times, prices, confusion. It's confusion how, on what type of submission you're doing. SGC was easy. Of what tier or where you want to buy it. Um, SGC had a great breakdown. Upcharges. I almost forgot upcharges. Like, come on, who are you to determine if I'm going to pay $25 to get my car graded by you, PSA, and then it's a 10, and then who are you to determine the value of my card? It's a 10. So you upcharge me? Like, come on. I spent $25 on to get it graded, and then when you grade it, it's a 10, and you say that, oh no, this card's going to be worth now 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 thousands of dollars. So now you're going to upcharge me thousands of dollars just because you think that card is worth that much? Card values are the collector's view, value. What does that, how much it means to them? Who are you to set that for the card collector? And they say, people are going to say, well, upcharges has been around. SGC had upcharges. They all have upcharges. They might, but they're not. You didn't hear about them. You didn't hear about being forced upcharges. You could get a Hank Aaron graded, and if it came back at 10 USGC, and like, oh well, we're going to charge you now $3,000 because we believe your card is worth $10,000. That's wrong. You're screwing the collector. You're screwing customers. So it's like, I don't know. I know I'm bouncing here and there everywhere. It's just there's a lot that's been going through my mind on a lot of these things the past couple of days, um, about everything. I just think, honestly, my personal opinion, I will never grade with PSA. I think they're too good for their britches. Um, Again, it's my opinion. I don't like their customer service. I don't like their turnaround times. Um, Everything I loved about SGC as far as the tuxedo, the look. I love the again. I love the tuxedo look. I love their customer service. I love the prices. I love the turnaround time. I look for companies like that. That's there for the collector. It's there for the hobbyist. Um, so I think, like most of us, are at that point, we're either going to keep our stuff raw and just let the value be raw, because grading's opinion. It's an opinion of what they believe the card would be. Or we're going to find another grading company. Like I said, I'm looking at degree grading. But I think for the most part right now, I'm going to keep my stuff raw. But I'm still going to buy PSA slabs. If it's a card I like, if it's a PSA slab, I'll buy it. If it's an SGC slab, I'll buy it. But I'm not going to submit to those to PSA anymore. So I just wanted to come out and just, like I said, give my thoughts. And like I said, I know this was all over the place and everything, and probably hard to keep track of. But yeah, I just wanted to give my opinion on it. Agree with me? Disagree with me? That's cool. That's what makes this world go around. Um, that's what makes this country great. So yeah, I'll check you guys on the flip side. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Peace.